still working on the Sharp RT-1157 that has been going on almost a year, on and off, of course, part-time. But I would get this deck all the way back to where everything was working properly, play, record, fast forward, rewind, and notice that the rewind began to slow towards the end. Now, I've talked about this on other videos, and I was like, well, you know, it was working, and then it's not working, and then so there you have to open it back up, take the mechanism out, which it's almost becoming like a torture to be able to do that with these. In doing that, a couple of lessons here for you. One is taking these mechs out of the 1157, you can accidentally knock things off the motherboard, the PCB, and I've knocked over the record play switch. I've actually broken it. I knocked over a pin out of the motherboard, and luckily that I had to do some soldering, which was great, and got that all straightened out. But taking that mechanism in and out is be very, very careful when you do it. And some people say, well, duh, I'll do that. But when you're trying to get this and try to figure it out. Anyway, I'm going to bring you up to date on where we are. Right now, I've narrowed down the slow rewind after going through every possible cause to the rewind tire on the rear that runs up against the capstan, or still the belt is too narrow, and I've ordered several and I keep getting the same one for this deck. So I'm still not sure what's going on, but I'm going to take you through that odyssey of trying to figure all this out. There's some good stuff in there. Stay tuned, fast forward if you want, to taking off the pieces of things I haven't done before, the take-up reel and things like that. So enjoy. I'm still not done, by the way. I'm still waiting for a tire for this deck to get it absolutely running. But it's been a great learning experience to be able to tinker with this on and off to finally get something back to life. So almost there. The patient is breathing, but still doesn't have use of everything. So enjoy. Hey, welcome back. This is our RT-1157, and it had the original problem of not playing, not rewinding. So we've replaced the belts. Then I got it all back together, was able to record and play. Looking pretty good. Rewind. So everything looks real strong. There's a couple of problems that look identical but actually have different causes. One is the belt not being wide enough caused the play and rewind not to work properly. Once I replaced that, it did. And then I had another issue with, oh my gosh, the spring down here, that little one down there, that connects the record playback switch, became too loose. So I bought a whole thing of springs from Amazon for like $6, different sizes, and they're quite strong. I was able to find the right one and replace it, but boy, working on that little spring in there is very difficult. Tiny hands would help. I ordered a set of tiny needle nose that have a long nose on them, so to get that to be fixed, so we were able to get that, and then a little piece of the record playback switch, the actual contact came off, and it's about that big. Sorry, that big, and I had to glue that back on. I can show you where. Down here. Oh dear, that is very hard. right by the yellow wire in there, there's the contact that hits when you press that. Yikes. All right. That sound was me touching something in the back that I shouldn't have. And that's what made the sound. So yeah, scared the heck out of me. I had to check, but it worked fine. So I went on Amazon looking for a replacement spring and found this goodie with springs of all sizes. It was like $6. So there's plenty of springs in here that could work for the cassette decks. I used one on the record playback switch, so that's really cool. Very good. So check Amazon, type in springs and small springs, I think, and then check this out. Also, on Amazon, I was able to find a box of E-clips that have some very large ones down to the ones we use, retaining clips for the rewind gear and such. So yeah, for a couple of bucks, I mean, it's like $6 or $7, $8 maybe. So a couple of tools for you. So we've hooked up our RT-1157. We're currently recording off the radio. Everything looks really good. This is what I hooked it to, my Technics SA600. It's been redone by a local shop here in Vegas. Very good, audio experts. So far so good. I'm going to record a while and then play it back. Looks like we're about ready to wrap this one up as a success. Unless it blows up, I'll let you know. One of the issues when you fix these is you run the risk of breaking something. And as we're trying to wrangle the mech back into the deck, and I just changed the rewind gear and we broke. This is the record playback contact that slides into it. When it makes contact, it goes in record mode. That completely broke off. So luckily I had a donor deck and we're able to solder in that guy with the blue base there, and I was able to unsolder it and that one and then put in a new one. Looks like I did an okay job for being a very novice solder person. Also what happens is, see the pins up here, right here? Those pins get bent and the one actually got the solder knocked loose. So I've soldered that guy back in. It's still a little bent. I'm going to try to straighten it a little bit. And then I checked all the corresponding ones around. The reason these things happen is it's so close to the edge of where the mech comes in that if you don't have 8 eyes on this thing as you're trying to remove it, which you don't, you can bend or break stuff right close to the border here of the PCB. So there's the lesson for you. Now I'm going to get this back, see if rewind works. Everything else was working. This is how you always come to the end and then near catastrophe. Luckily I had an extra deck that had that I've been using for parts. And we're going to put it back together and let's see how we did. Hey, so we got our Sharp RT-1157 back up. And rewind is still not working properly. So I had changed the rewind gear. That's the bright white one in the middle there. But notice that it doesn't really sit on this directly. This has a lot of play compared to another deck I have. And it looks like the teeth don't fully, they engage on the end of it and not the, not the whole gear. So I noticed that there's a lot, see when I go down, that looks like it was fully engaged with the actual gear itself. I've checked another deck that doesn't have that much play in it. So there's two possible attempted fixes here. One is, if you'll notice, working in a camera, this is not very raised up. So I can either lower this or raise this. And it acts like it probably should have had a washer down on the shaft. But if I look at the schematics, there is no washer listed. That means either the manufacturer of this gear had a shorter, I don't know, what would you call it? A throat of it, I guess, and not as tall. Or this piece needs to go down, and I got to figure out why it's got as much bounce as it does. The other one I checked, I can show you, doesn't have as much bounce in it. So I think I'm going to take this off and see what's in there and see if we can give it a go. Well, miracle fix here. So while I was trying to get the so tiny of a E-clip off, I noticed that this seemed to have popped back into place. There's a little bit of play, but not as much, and you can see the white part is all the way down, and there's much better engagement of that. So miracle fix. So let's wrap it up and try it again. Okay, we're testing the rewind now. That was the final problem. I'm going to retest everything again to make sure it's running all right. Seems to be constant. So we're going to take a look at it, play, record, rewind, fast forward, and see how she sounds and does. It sounded great last time. I'm going to have to just repeat that because I accidentally broke the switch for the record switch and had to resolder back in a pin that had been knocked about trying to get these mechs out. It's a very delicate thing. You need to take your time and try to figure out how things work. I was a bit rambunctious in there, and you pay the price. So take your time, and looks like so far so good. I'm gonna, you can like watch it rewind here. It should just be, I'll turn it back on in a second. Okay, here we're coming up to the end now is where it would slow down and not make it all the way to the reel. And we figured out that that left hub, there we go, good. Automatic stop, engaged. Okay, there you go. Just a few seconds of play. So in chasing down the rewind issue, this is a donor machine, and I removed the pickup reel and discovered that there is a spring inside of it, and it feels a little sticky.
And then the shaft was very gooey. The grease had solidified and was very sticky. So we're going to follow up on that with our other deck and get this rewind problem solved. Okay, I've removed this by taking off the tiniest E-clamp known to man. Anyway, and so what I discovered was the shaft way sticky. That has to spin freely. So I thought, clean the shaft with alcohol. It's metal. And then I'm going to spray in maybe, I don't know, I don't have any alcohol that would get in there. I might try something. I might try like the oxide or something, although this is plastic. So I don't know. But let me work on it and see if this fixes our rewind problem.
Hey, so long story short, it did not fix the rewind problem. I cleaned it up, got it going, but still, as the deck approached the end, towards the end, probably about 4/5 of the way through, it began to slow down and slow down. So I observed the wheel that turns the center rewind gear, which is how it's powered, and it seemed to be doing fine. I just couldn't figure out why the capstan roller was moving at it looked like normal speed, but that gear was slowing down. So that means the wheel that touches the capstan uh, maybe is slipping. It's hard to tell. So I have ordered some tires to put on that. I will have a video. The next video will show you what I'm talking about. And hopefully we can get this problem solved.